Tuesday, July 2nd, and the Dome Foamers podcast is back. And I'm your host, Christian Kruger, as always, with Neil Mieski and Brian Dorton. And we are just lifelong Astros fans that love talking about the Astros. So, boys, let's go. Episode 55. This is a shout out to the one Jared Gilly Vickers, who is a loyal listener, a Dome Foamer at heart. Even though he claims to like that team up north, he listens every week. Old Gilly wore 55. So, Jared,
double nickel.
There's your
50,
shout out.
55 in your program, number 1 in your heart.
Amen. Amen. Boys, so let's recap. So the Astros did just lose, but that's not gonna be the majority of this podcast. So with the loss just now to the Blue Jays, 7-6, the Astros have won 10 of 12. They were 4-1 last week. Excuse me. They're now 43-42. They'll lose a half game to make it 3.5, depending on what the Mariners do. If they win, it will be 4 back. If the Mariners lose, it'll stay at 3 back. So they're back. They're in it. They've made the run to be back in it. I love it. I know we all love it. The question then becomes, and we're going to get right into it, what do they do? Because I think it's fair to say, unless the next 10 games go very, very bad, that they won't be selling. So do they stand pat? Or do they buy? And if they buy, how do they buy? And we've gotten some feedback this week. I know Neil and I have had some little social media stuff,
just making friends.
Making friends. We all have our opinions. The point that we try to do on this podcast, in all actuality, while Dorton, Neil, and myself might have same opinions on some things and different on others, is to educate. And it's not as easy as just saying the Astros are going to buy in their current situation. So, again, 10 of 12, doing this all without Kyle Tucker, who I still presume has passed away, is a hell of a sign. And before we dive into what we should do, we do need to get some shout outs. And the shout out is, I was dead wrong to start the year on Hunter Brown. I might be coming dead right. He has been unreal. 1 run in 34 innings.
Yeah, it's insane.
I believe it's 6 straight quality starts. He's pitching like I thought he would, despite the absolute horrendous April. And he's been huge. And also, obviously, we all know Bregman's been warming up. Diaz has warmed up a little bit. Mm-hmm. And it's just been a team effort, and we're getting more situational hitting, which we talked about. It's been a huge problem. So with that being said, I will do the quote unquote throw it to Neil. It's not really a temperature check because we're all going to be in a positive mood, which is great. The question then becomes, what do we do and how do we do it? So, Neil, fire away with your thoughts.
Yeah, so I'm gonna remain in the same boat I've been saying, and it was a little bit harder or a little bit different to kick the can to the All-Star break when we were 10 games down or whatever it was, but I'm still in that pattern. I'm still not necessarily buyer seller. I'm not convinced that this is a team that's going to win a World Series as it is. And so I'm still in the mindset of continue to see, is this just a good stretch for us and then we come back down, or is this who we are now? I mean, I've seen signs of Astro baseball, and that is encouraging. But I'm not prepared to say go out there and get this pitcher, get whatever first base. I'm not there yet. And if anything, pitching. I mean, and we can talk about that as this develops, but I'm definitely not we are buyers or we are sellers. I'm still kicking this can a little bit, see who we really are, get to this all-star break, take a deep breath, and evaluate from there. So I'm still in the middle of the road.
All right, Jordan.
So very similar to Neil, but you last week you hypothetically threw out Alonso as like here's an offering. What are you going to pay for him? And then what was it? A day or two later, there's somewhat smoke / fire rumors of going after Vlad.
Mm-hmm.
From Toronto, who we just played. And I feel like I'm still on the same page there, even after having a few more wins under the belt in the past week. Is that we still have a pitching problem, and securing a first baseman shouldn't be the top priority right now. But is it on the list? Absolutely. Like we can't continue to go with the current staff that we have at first base. But like I feel like we need to address some starting pitching, and then see what we can do about upgrading at first base.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. So they're not going to get Vlad Guerrero. Like that's
no,
just,
I know that. I know, but
yeah,
I did.
No,
think
you're
it was,
right.
I thought it was
you're
pretty
right.
funny. I thought it was pretty funny that you threw out the Pete Alonso, and then immediately after there was like the same scenario of here's Vlad. What do we want for him?
And who has another year of control, right? So I mean, he would be more the Astros style. He's too expensive, but it's not even about that. Like the pitching reared its ugly head tonight. I don't want to dwell on tonight, right? Because they've won 10 of 12. And without them winning 10 of 12, they wouldn't be in the position they're in. However, it also makes you say, yep, there's the problem. Aaron Getty, I think, is going to be good. But I also think Aaron Getty would be good as a long guy in their bullpen right now with a quality staff. And then, spot start him when you can. And he's made great starts, and he's made starts like tonight that were not great. And that's the consistency that you're looking for in a young guy. But it kind of showed you, like, we have a 4-man rotation right now with all the off days that are disappearing as we speak.
I mean, I was impressed. I was impressed that we were able to get together a bullpen day yesterday and win it.
Yeah,
which is
doubt.
incredible.
Sunday,
like, I think that's
on
awesome.
Sunday. Yeah, that was awesome.
Or Sunday. Yeah. So,
as my dog likes to bark, I'm trying to get her in here.
But yeah, I'm with you, Brian. I really don't think getting a first baseman at this point is the difference.
No,
I mean,
I agree.
The rotation between Singleton, Dubon, I'm really good with. I could ride that puppy out, and I've got zero concerns about those two guys filling in. And again, we've said this time and time again that the issue when you lay out our position players, obviously Diaz is more than formidable, catching a little fire, which makes that great. Bregman, Pena, Altuve, combined with our outfielders, and again we've been on this little run with Tucker on the DL or the IL, so I think our position players still remain a playoff, possibly World Series caliber team, but even with the addition of Garcia and McCullers and Verlander, for that matter, that's where it gets dicey, right? I mean, that's the part that, if we make the playoffs, it's going to be because Garcia and McCullers have come along and contributed in a significant way. Because obviously, I mean, again, I'm not basing this just on tonight's performance, but Arrighetti, he's just not the guy yet, right? And we texted before we started tonight a little bit about this, and he's going to be fine. I think he's going to be a really good pitcher, or has the ability to become a really good pitcher in the future, but he's just not there. I mean, it's just not yet. I mean, if you would have told us, Arrighetti was going to make 10 starts this year at the beginning of the year, I would have laughed at you. Yeah. So, the fact that he's up ahead of pace, all those types of things, he's still in the growing stage, just at the major league level, and that's fair or not fair. That's the hand he's been dealt. So he's not a guy that you're banking on game 4 of whatever playoff series to come in and be the one. So I just think pitching, if there's a situation to upgrade, that is without a doubt the area that we need to look at. I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't think.
Okay, so that's fair, because that's kind of what I wanted to base most of the podcast on, is like opinions. What do you think we're going to do? And I mean this not to argue a point. I just don't think the Astros have anything I don't think they can plan on Garcia and McCullers. I think anything they get is, if it's average or better, is just icing on the cake. Garcia is supposed to be here at the end of the month, supposedly, is what I heard. I mean, he could go out and get shelled like a slot machine, or he could be back. He could be back and be a long guy or whatever. So, if you're the Astros right now, I think you take them out of the equation. And I'm never going to talk about the coffee salesman. Y'all know that. But, I mean, I think you take them out of the equation. That's the bonus stuff, right? That's the icing on the cake. And I think you say, well, now supposedly what we're hearing, or what I read today, is Verlander's going to be back after the All-Star break. What a shocker. I mean, what a shock. What a joke he is. I'm sorry.
I'm okay with it.
Joke. He's a joke. Like,
I'm okay with it.
I'm so over this guy. I'm so over him. Now, that's my opinion. But missed the first month, wakes up one morning with a stiff neck, throws Arrighetti out there without knowing he's pitching. He gives up like 7,000 runs, and we don't hear from him again. I don't understand what we're paying this guy. We paid him $66 million for 6 innings. I'm over it. But however, we're so short-handed, we need him.
Yeah.
Well, here's I don't want to get too sidetracked, but this injury could help us sign Kyle Tucker, because we won't be paying Verlander if he doesn't reach his innings.
I mean, that's a whole nother ball of wax.
Right. But I'm just saying, really, if we just kick the can through this season and no trades are made, and whatever happens, and Verlander doesn't reach his 140 innings, whatever that is. Okay. I mean, blessing in disguise, perhaps.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. But
I'm not saying it's okay he's hurt. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
I think that's a different conversation. Like,
sure. No, I know what you're saying. That's why I said this is on the side. But go ahead. You hate Verlander, and
well, no, I mean, I hate that he wakes up one morning with a stiff neck and we never see him again.
Yeah,
like it's a joke. But I don't want to sidetrack that either, because you're right. I was a fan when he was winning World Series. He's just not that same guy right now. And so we're so thin, like we need him. But I mean, if you really put pen to paper what we're paying and what he's giving us, it's been pretty. Yeah,
getting robbed again.
So, okay, so the question becomes: obviously, we know we can't do a 4-man rotation. Verlander's the closest to being back. So I read it's going to be after the All-Star break. Okay, so we've got to do a couple of more bullpen starts before the All-Star break. Which, to Dorton's point, our first one was good. It's not always going to be that way. And it's not necessarily the outcome. It's what it does to the bullpen the next couple of days. It shreds the bullpen.
Yeah, I mean, when Hunter Brown went out yesterday, you basically said you're going to pitch at least 6 innings.
Yeah.
I don't know what the score is going to be, but because after that we've got Montero, and then I don't really know.
Right.
So thank goodness Hunter had continued his streak.
Yeah.
So here's my question. Do I think this team can make the playoff in its current form? Well, based on the last 2 weeks, I would say, can they make the playoffs? Yes. Can they do any? Now, the next question is, can they do anything in the playoffs? No. I mean, could they win a series? Sure. Anyone can get hot. You can win a short series with a short staff. What becomes the problem is with this staff currently is in a long 7-game series, right? So, if that's the case, excuse me, do you try to find a way to get a starting pitcher, or do you stand pat? Because
and just hope that the guys coming back aren't going to get hurt again.
Right. Or Verlander comes back, bats stay hot. You catch the Mariners, which, by the way, we're actually the Mariners we're 2-5 versus the Mariners. So
we got to beat them.
We're going to have to win 4 of 6. No, more than that. We're pretty much screwed. That we can't tie them. So that's actually another game because of how we've played against them.
Yeah.
So do you just sit on your hands and in that limbo area and just say, hey, this is what we got due to our payroll concerns, due to the fact that we have the farm that we have. Let's see where it happens. And hey, go get them, boys. And let's see if we make the playoffs. Or, and to the Astros' credit, if they're in it, they tend to find a way to upgrade. Okay? I mean, they have. They have proven to us if they're in it, they're going to go find a way to upgrade. Whether it works or not, they'll find a way to upgrade. So then the question becomes who, which that's arbitrary. I mean, there's so many options out there, but then at what cost, right? We've always talked about what cost, because now you get on the Astros social media, everyone's saying, oh yeah, let's go. We're buying. Well, it's not that easy. We've got payroll issues. And what are you willing to give up? So the names that are out there that I think will definitely be on the trade block would be, my favorite guy is Garrett Crochet for the White Sox. However, everyone will be after him. The Orioles, Dodgers, Yankees, everyone will be after him. You got Jesus or Luzardo.
Yeah, who's he with?
For the Marlins now. Great another left-hander. Crochet's a lefty. You know, you're going to have a couple A's pitchers. You're going to have a couple Angels pitchers. And I'm sure there's going to be more that will be floated out there to see what – they'll be quality starters. I think the Astros need a starter and a bullpen guy if you're going to try to make a move in the playoffs. And remember, this is not just to make a move in the playoffs. This is to get to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no guarantees this team and its current situation is going to make the playoffs. They've just showed the last 2 weeks that they've played better ball, but they got to get some pitchers back. So, not what you think if you, again, we always do this, and I'm going to go to Dorton first. If you were the GM and you're 3.5 back as of right now, are you going after starting pitching?
I will. I think if there's a move to be made, that's the starting pitcher is that move. But I don't think right now is the time to make these huge moves.
No, but these conversations they're already going on, and they're already talking about it right now. I mean,
but then
they're going to see all each other. They're going to see all each other at the All-Star break. I mean, deals don't happen overnight. I mean, these are conversations that go on for 60 days.
But yeah, then we need to start laying whatever groundwork we need to lay to jump on some pitching.
Okay. Do you think just a starter? Or do you starter and reliever?
I mean, I think we go after a starter first. That's our priority. And we glue together what we can in the bullpen.
Okay. Neil?
I'm staying pat. I'm riding what we have because again, let's say it is Crochet. Is he the difference? Is he the guy that's going to make us World Series contenders? I don't think. I mean,
he makes us a whole lot better.
I don't know, Neil. I mean, like having one more starter that's like a quality start, like even if a half of his starts are quality starts, right? Like that is every 4 or 5 games, we're getting something out of it. Whereas before, like it's a crapshoot right now. It really is.
There's nothing to say too that he comes over and is the magic pill, and at the expense of.
Well, okay, let's use let's use context here. Let's use context to Neil's point. I think you have him for 2.5 more years. So, he's very controllable. Now, I would bet a large amount of money he's going to end up on the Orioles or the Dodgers because farm systems, they're going to outbid each other. So, I mean, Neil, that's just a name we threw out because
and that's what I'm with you.
But his value is so high. One, he's a power lefty arm that can be in the bullpen or a starter for any team, and his versatility. And two, I think you have him for the next 3 months and 2 more years. So his value is skyrocketing.
Sure. Yeah, I just feel like okay. So let's go down our starting pitcher. Fromber. If we get good Fromber, it's great Fromber, right? I mean, and again, I haven't written him off, but it's just he's so hard to trust. He's going to let us down at some point in time, right? Yes. So you've got Fromber, you've got Blanco, who's been our best pitcher this year, right? And this is 1 year in. Tell me the last time Blanco has pitched this many innings this long in a year. Never. Yeah. Right. You've got Oh,
right. Yeah. I'm following you.
Hunter Brown, who has been ice cold and now ice hot. Does he level out in some form or fashion? And then you've got Spencer Arrighetti, which we know he's not ready. You've got Verlander, who's a shell of himself. You've got Garcia. You've got McCullers. You've got Bloss.
Coffee salesman.
So I'm just saying, like, I don't feel like one guy comes in and we go, now this team can win it all. I just don't have that feeling. So if I'm Dana Brown, and again, maybe it's Dana Brown and him getting the vibe from the ownership folks on money. And again, we may want somebody, we may be able to, have somebody narrowed in that we feel good about, but at what cost?
Yeah. Well,
and do we get them? Do we get outbid?
To your point? No, exactly. But to your point, and I understand where you're coming from. I really do, because I know how you operate. You're not wrong. The problem is for Astros organization and Astros fans, the worst place to be, is to do nothing. Like you in our current situation, and this is why you say kicking the can down to All-Star break, I get it. But this is why you either need to decide very quickly, like the day the All-Star break commences, if you're a buyer or seller. Because doing nothing, we're going to walk people walk out the door. We're going to have valuable assets that we don't want to pay next year that either we're going to have to pay or, I mean, we've documented it, right? The expiring contracts. I don't have a problem when now I have a problem if you're 6 back. If you're 3 back, I get it. Like, I get it. Go for it. Let's go. Might not agree with, it is all about cost, what it's going to cost you, because it's going to cost you a pretty penny, right? Meaning in leverage and in prospects.
Yep.
But you've played well enough, you put yourself back into it. But I wouldn't object if they did say, okay, we don't think we've got what it takes. We're going to sell our valuable assets, meaning Bregman and a few others. That's better to me than doing nothing.
Okay, so phase one or plan one would be hang tight. Let's see what McCullers, Garcia. I mean, again, they're seeing their progress that we don't see. We see what it looks like, or they see what it looks like, and we don't. So now the second part of that would be, okay, we like what we're seeing from, let's just say, Garcia. McCullers is going to be irrelevant. So yeah, let's get somebody. So if we do go down the path of trading, it's got to be Jake Myers and or Chaz involved. We just do not have enough in the farm system to just go out and shovel over some guys. I don't
agree with. I think we do, but I think it'll empty out the entire tank. Like, I think the tank will go from a quarter of a tank full to E. Like I'm with you. I would do it out of just the fact that how many outfielders we freaking have.
Yes, exactly
and the
right.
value. But I mean, you could do it without those two. Like, someone might just say, "Hey, I want Jake Bloss, Jacob Melton, and X."
Sure.
They totally could say that, and it's just a matter of the Astros want to part with it or not. But yeah, I mean, the capital, the farm system capital would be at an all-time low, no doubt.
And we feel like it already is.
Yeah, one that's already struggling.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get it. Like, I'm just in between. I'm leaning more towards, without a doubt, I'm leaning more towards hang tight. Let's see. I mean, there's 21. I just counted up 21 games left. 21 games left before the trade deadline. And if we rope off another, 10 out of 12 or whatever the streak is then maybe we do start looking like a team that could win the World Series. Maybe there are some things that start and I know. I mean, it boils down to our pitching. How long can we continue to do what we're doing?
Yeah.
And I mean, is Dubin going to go out there and on this bullpen start day and throw an egg one day? Very possible. Very possible.
So which 2024 Astros team are we? Are we the current version, or are we the one that we saw up until the first couple of weeks of June?
Well, I know this. We're better now that we've DFA'd who.
Yeah,
I know.
That cloud has helped.
I will say this. I don't think we won't continue. We won't continue. We won't continue winning 10 of 12 games for the rest of the season, but we can't revert to anything other than winning series from here on out.
Sure.
And so,
and those are things. Those are things to me that are signs of a team that is being consistent. Pitching's good, timely hitting, all those things that we griped about. And I remember, Brian, you're like, well, how do we change the way and those are the things that we came up with. Like, that's how you have to change the momentum of this team back when we were struggling. And that's what they're finally doing.
Yep.
And so if those things continue, and again, earlier I've referenced looking like the Houston Astros, meaning what they've done in the last 7 years or so.
Yep.
You start to see those signs. And so if those types of things continue to build, well, then the momentum to, all right, let's go get a guy. Let's go win this thing. But if we tread water at 1 to 2 games over 500, I mean, you're not screaming anything. Hey, we're about to win this thing. So everything boils down to our starting pitching, the health of that, the health of Verlander, the health of Garcia, McCullers, Bloss. I mean, Arrighetti. I mean, just to me, that's the new thing of, oof, how in the world can we expect to say we're this team that's got a chance to not just get in, but do something when we got 3.5 starters.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So what are you doing, Christian? You're making the trade? I mean, let me ask you this. Are you still on the sell this thing?
I mean, I didn't
think
they would do. I didn't think they'd win 10 out of 12. So,
right.
I mean, now if you look at it currently to date, you're 3.5 games back. I'll be honest. I don't give a damn about the wild card. I really don't. Now, if it comes to that point, it will. But my goal would be to catch the Mariners, and we know they're going to make a move. They're playing like dog turd right now, which is good for them to see.
Yeah.
So, I mean, everything in my competitive body says this. So, to answer your question, I'll answer your question first. Neil, is I would go try to make the trade. I mean, we've been
pitching
for a starting pitcher,
and you think a reliever as well?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think you can get a reliever for Chas McCormick or Jake Myers.
Yeah.
Like I do. And if that needs to be, if the starting pitcher is more important, which I do believe, they need to be included in that. And I'm fine with that too. Yeah. But I would not hate the Astros if they just got to 5 or 6 games back, right? Struggled through here, maybe struggled after, got to 6 or 7 games and said,
yeah,
sell, let's get some assets. The thing that is the worst thing, and I'm telling you, the thing that is the worst thing for them to do is do nothing.
Because of what? Because you don't win and you don't lose.
And you don't,
and
and
other
you
people
didn't trade.
And other people are making those trades.
And you didn't get any value for your people walking out the door.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have a third baseman and a first baseman for next year. And guess what? Our starting staff looks like caca next year. Or, you know what I mean? Like, we don't have enough depth. So, you know how y'all know, the people listen to podcasts, y'all know, I'm already looking at, like, I don't think in current form this team's going to make the World Series. Now, that doesn't mean if they want to go for it, well, then go for it. But you're going to have to make bold moves to do that.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't think that, and you don't want to get rid of the little capital that you have left, then sell. I'm all for, because let me be okay in 25 and let me be good in 26. And let's shore up third base. Let's shore up first base. Let's shore up the bullpen. Let's shore up the starting staff. Excuse me. And you can do all those things with the people that we've laid out on this podcast for weeks now. Again, that's when we were 8 and 9 and 10 games back. So I fully understand being 3.5 games back. Hey, if you want to put the pedal down and go, go. But you cannot. And Neil, you're right. We have 28 more days, but that's going to come like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's 28 more games, but it's 22 games. It's 28 more days, but what do you say? It's 22 games?
21, I think.
Right. That's going to happen quickly.
What is going on over there?
I'm dying.
Put your Marble Reds down, for God's sake. Start using a filter
happening?
on this.
Sorry, Dorton can edit it.
I'm not editing a thing. The world needs to hear that to diagnose what's happening.
God.
I don't know what's happening.
Jesus,
I'm stuck on the Hawk Tui girl.
Yeah.
Sorry, had to.
Yeah.
Like, doing nothing is the worst. It's the worst. You can't do nothing.
So, I mean, if we do nothing, what do we basically let Bregman walk? That's the one. And
okay.
Verlander.
Then you tell me your 6 starters for next year.
Well, okay, let's say we go for it. Oh, you're saying if we don't do anything
without a third baseman. We don't have a third baseman. We haven't fixed first base.
If we go for it, we're not trading for a third baseman in this deal.
Agreed.
So who is it,
mean?
Nick? Like you're saying that if we do nothing, we have a hole at third base next year. Agreed. I agree with that. If we go for it, if we do trade for some starting pitcher to go try to win this sucker, we still have a hole next year at third base.
But you likely have a controllable starter for next year. They're not going to do Reynolds. Astros are not going to do a rental pitcher. They never have, with the exception of Randy Johnson in 1999. They'll never. I mean, that's the one thing I believe that they say they do not want a controllable pitcher unless it was just so cheap it didn't matter.
So
my point being is, if you go for it, you're right. Third base isn't fixed. However, you went for it, and you probably got if you made a trade, you got a controllable starter for next year.
Right. So it's going to look like Blanco, Fromber. Who am I missing already? Why am I blanking out? Who's our?
I wouldn't necessarily say Fromber.
Well, I mean, unless he's dealt.
They could trade him in the offseason.
I mean, possibly.
They tried to this offseason.
Hunter Brown. I mean, there's the three reliables per se, and then you've got Arrighetti. You've got
controllable starter you traded for.
McCullers, who 2 years McCullers is done after this year?
There's no point in talking about a coffee salesman. There is 0 point talking about a coffee salesman.
What was it, 2 or 3 years ago? I mean, he's throwing in the World Series. I mean, I'm still saying there could be. I mean, we're not going to just throw this guy away. I get it. He's as frustrating as it comes. I mean, he's as bad as Verlander when it comes to stealing money. But I'm going to find out. You've got Garcia still. I mean, so there's still some names that figure out who they are. And a good thing is you're going to see Garcia, you're going to see McCullers this year, and you're going to know a little bit.
We're going to see McCullers this year.
Oh, of course not.
Yeah, no, I don't believe that either. We don't know. You said we're going to see the coffee salesman. We don't know that.
According to what, he's pitching off a freaking mound right now.
He did that last year.
Sure. Yeah.
To Kruger's point, he has been throwing in the bullpen now for about a month and a half.
Yeah, and who knows, right? But I'm just saying, in 3 months, we're hopefully have some idea. But with all that being said, I mean, again, Verlander's off the books, Bregman's off the books. I mean, I don't know who it is. I'm not giving names, but
I don't either.
We're going to have to,
Yeah, but if you go for it and you make the trade, you're getting likely a controllable starter back for next year. So that is one hole that is at least. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'd rather than buy or sell, doing nothing. You have too much value. To just sit here on your hands. And by the way, I don't think they're going to sit on their hands. I think they're going to go for it.
So I guess the deal is. So who are our main pieces in AAA, AA? Who are you saying are the tradable assets?
I think a team would call, obviously, as we well know, depending on the quality of the player, but let's think tradable assets would be Jacob Melton.
Which plays what?
Plays outfield.
Okay. Keep going.
Joey Luperfido.
Which plays?
Outfield.
Okay.
Miguel Uola.
Yeah, the guy we talked about.
Yeah, power on. Pitcher. Jake Bloss. Pitcher.
Pedro Leon. Outfielder.
Probably. AJ Bluebaugh. Pitcher. And then Luis Baez, outfielder, 19-year-old. I think he just turned 20, and you don't even touch him. Leave him where he is and let him a couple more years, because I think he's probably the best bat at the youngest age coming up. So, to your point, 4 outfielders and 3 pitchers, and I'm sure there's a throw in somewhere, but yes, those would be the guys they're going to call.
And where do we have a log jam right now at the major league level?
Outfield, I know.
I mean, so I bounced through this like, okay, so if you get rid of some of these young outfielders and combine it with either Chaz or Myers, but who wants 3 outfielders?
Yeah.
You know, so you're going to say, okay, got to throw 2 outfielders in a pitcher. Cool. Okay. And then you give them, again, Chaz or whoever, throw in 2 outfielders and a pitcher that we haven't heard of necessarily. And then do you sign Tucker? Because then if you don't sign Tucker, then you go, well, what happened to all these outfielders?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do we do with those guys? And so I hate the number of outfielders we have, but at the same time, if we don't sign Tucker, then I want to know which one is the best one to maintain some success. So
let me be clear. Let me be clear. There's not a Kyle Tucker in any of that group.
Oh gosh, no, not even close.
Now, I'm not going to throw this on Luis Baez, but he has just turned 20 and has the potential to be a plus hitter. I'm not going to compare him to Kyle Tucker, but he's in that same mold of raking at 20 years old, which is not easy to do.
Yeah. Just
Bryce Matthews, they call him.
Yeah, but I don't think we touch him yet. I think he's
no, but I mean, you asked who would teams call on?
No, I agree. He's solid.
We think.
I mean, obviously if things progress to the point to where we're trending, it doesn't kill me to go after it. I just don't know on today, July 2nd. I just don't know that we are a World Series capable team.
I don't think we are.
What's that?
I don't think we are.
Yeah, and I don't know that we're one trade away from being that.
Yeah.
So again, I'll never be mad of getting more pitching. That just doesn't mean, clearly if Astro fans haven't learned this year that you can never have too much, well, wake up. So I'm just, I want to know more. I want to know who, like, I mean, Brian asked the question, a great question. Who really are we? Are we the team that sweeps the Baltimore Orioles, you know, or are we the team that gets swept versus Atlanta? You know, right. which way is this? And I know it's a long season, and we're in a good run right now, and I just want to know. I mean, I'm sure everybody, that's the name of the game, but I want to know where Garcia and McCullers really are, and if they're worth hanging on. I mean, because in some people's eyes, those are the assets. Those are the trade pieces that aren't costing you anything.
Just money.
You're making. I'm sorry.
Just $15 million a year.
Well, I'm saying
they're costing you.
Yeah, but if we don't go get anyone else, then we're not adding to that salary. So, and I get what y'all are saying. I mean, I get it. Yeah, I mean, I surely don't want to come off as uninterested in winning, but at the same time, I mean, if we're gonna suck, I'm just tired of seeing. I want to get something for Bregman if we're gonna suck, and I know that's kind of where what you've been saying for a while, Christian. And so I'm tired of the Springers and Correa's walking out the door, and we're left, you know, empty-handed on this stuff. But we were winning. We were going to World Series.
It was a little bit easier with them as well because we had somebody in Sugarland who could step in, right? Like,
and we were
easier.
winning.
It was a lot easier to swallow Correa leaving when Pena gets up there and becomes the World Series MVP the following year, you know?
Well,
or 2 years later.
Yeah, I mean, and if we were, you know, 15 games over 500 right now, I wouldn't be saying even who cares I mean, we got to have Bregman to win. I mean, that's a no-brainer. So back then it was okay. We have to keep these guys because we're trying to compete for a World Series, and they're going to walk out the door. We get that, and that sucks. But we'll try to re-sign them, and we don't. Well, with Bregman, we're floating at 500, and not only that, but like you said, Brian, we don't have one waiting in the wings.
Right.
For whatever reason, we haven't prepared ourselves for that properly.
Yeah.
Gordon?
Yeah. I'm fully on board with going and making some moves, but you know, I don't know. Like it's I think we have to have a pitcher right now. We have to have more pitching.
You got it in you, Christian? Oh, okay. I didn't know if you could. I want people to watch this YouTube of Christian just in a debacle.
I'm dying.
You sound good, buddy. You sound good.
I don't know if it's allergies or what. I'm dying.
Too much river water in New Braunfels.
Maybe.
Oh,
maybe.
Man.
Or not enough.
Yeah, there it is. There it is.
All right. So let's move on to. I'm gonna go first. Sorry, and it's not gonna surprise y'all. Let's move on. We haven't done this in a while. They're playing well. It's time to bring it back. Dome Phone Player of the Week. Mine's going to Hunter Brown.
You didn't give us a chance.
Ah, man. What the heck? Yeah.
Well, if you go back to the 55 episodes, I think I let y'all go about 52 of the times.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I was high on him, and he made me look like a complete moron the first month of the season, and now he looks
good.
Man.
They're firing a bunch of stats up there with his name next to Nolan Ryan's. You're doing something right.
Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah, I don't know what. I mean, I know, it's talking about the sinker and everything else. I can't believe one pitch just makes you that much more effective. I don't know what it is. But I'm going to buy that guy a Dome Phone because he is good done. I think I saw the stat the first month of April. He was the second, based on innings, qualified starts. He was the second worst ERA in all of baseball, and now he's the number one in the last 5 starts. That's a pretty different turnaround. Like that's the whole 360 degrees.
His ERA is still in the 4s, isn't it? It's 4 point
It's like 4.07.
Yeah. Well, to whatever he's done, he's been one of the best pitchers in the league for the past, several weeks, and he's still in the 4s. That tells you. Well, that tells you a lot.
We talked about this. I've never seen a pitcher give up 9 runs in one inning and they leave the guy in. And remember that Kansas City start, he gave up 9 runs in the first inning. So
yeah, that was brutal.
He's going to get my Dome Phone. Dorton?
So I'm going to go similar here. I'm going to do a pitcher. I'm going Dubin. This, it all comes back to, we had that bullpen start. What Dubin went way longer than he needed to, or that we were expecting, but he stayed in. He pitched a heck of a game, and frankly, I don't think anybody here would have predicted that one at all. So
no, I did not think he would get a Dome Phone this year. So no, I would not.
I didn't. I'll be honest, I didn't either. But I think, and do I think that he's our answer as a starting pitcher? Absolutely not. But did he do a good job of stepping in when needed? Yes, he did. And
I'm amazed when a guy starts that hadn't started and doesn't get hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens.
It is an oddity for this ball club.
Some people, it actually happens.
All right, Neil.
And Brian, I wasn't going Dubin, but you're right. That was a good one because you started at the beginning and I was thinking about at the end and talking about guys that we never would have thought would get one. And I'm going with the Taylor Scott.
Hey, the South African savior.
Man.
Yeah.
And mostly for what he did in New York, pitching 3 days and coming out. And I know he gave up the run in extra innings, but that's on his third day in a row coming out, just a crazy rain delay, all those kinds of things, and just surviving, hanging on, those types of things. And we talk about guys stepping up and doing things for the club in crazy situations and then doing it consistently and not getting hurt. I'm going with that guy. So
I bet you this is a Dome Foamers podcast first time that we've done 3 pitchers.
Yeah,
no doubt.
I 100%. No chance that we would have.
Honorable mention goes to Altuve for getting ejected for only the second time.
Yeah, he did. Boy, he was hot.
Who blew the call?
They were pissed.
It was a terrible call. It was a terrible call, but I love it. I love it. Maybe that's another thing that this team, maybe that maybe a wake up call has happened in the dugout somewhere in the locker room where, look, I don't care if you are a former MVP all-star, if you're not producing, you're off the team. And all of a sudden other players like Altuve are actually showing some fire. And I'm wondering if there's a combination in there somewhere that's led to this turnaround.
Yeah, I don't think they're distracted and worried about stepping on toes and making comments about who's playing first base anymore. I really honestly believe that is a relief for the entire organization. And again, credit to them for pulling that plug. Another guy that, don't foam worthy in my mind, who doesn't get enough credit for the shuffling is Dana Brown. I mean, can you just imagine the stuff that he's had to? I mean, he's got to wake up every morning crossing his fingers and his toes that somebody's not gotten hurt at 6 a.m. And I'm not saying he's done perfect, but it's hard to be perfect when just the steady crap that he's been dealt. I mean, the number of bodies that have gone down and just managing a 40-man roster, managing the major league roster, making sure we've got enough guys at all the minor league levels. And so, a hat tip at the minimum to Dana Brown for managing a whirlwind of a season so far. I don't think he gets enough credit for that. And I know, Christian, you're not in love with the management, but I just think that it's been an incredible, crazy, unpredictable year for those guys. And to say that we're at 500, I think Dana Brown deserves some credit for hanging in there with these guys.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I also think it's his job.
Oh yeah, it's been extremely difficult.
Sure, no doubt. But I'm going to tap my reactions on Dana Brown to see what happens in the next 30 days. Sure. That's going to tell me a lot, And I'm also not going to put too much blame on him. I mean, I'm telling you. I mean, the problem is not Dana Brown.
Jerry Jim Crane.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I think Dana Brown's a smart guy. But we'll see. Let's talk about the rest of the schedule here, and then we'll wrap this battle. We went long last week because we had a different subject, and my allergies are about to freaking knock me out. So, but let's talk about. We were 1-1 for the week. We won the bullpen day on which, by the way, I love winning on Canada Day. That's awesome. We lost today 7-6. We have 2 more with the Blue Jays, and then 3 in Minnesota. Do we want to do the rest of the week since the Tuesday, or do we want to do?
Last week we picked.
We did 10.
We did 10. We did 10, right?
Yeah, I was 5-5. I think y'all were both 6-4.
I think that's right.
I thought I was 8-2. Are you sure?
No, you were not.
Oh gosh, here we go.
Yeah, and so let's table that, and then maybe we can come back Sunday-ish and hit up at the end of the Sunday should be a day game, shouldn't it? Can't see. God.
There's
Sunday?
almost always unless it's on ESPN.
Yeah, we're at Minnesota 1:10 Central Time.
1:10.
Excuse me. So are they doing
I can't see a thing anymore. Like I'm trying to squint. Something's 5
so
away.
Is it
good Lord?
Who's tomorrow? I tried to look earlier and it wouldn't load.
Yeah, I'm trying to get there. And of course.
Yeah, it's not mine on my end, it's not loading.
Well, I got to get to the home page and all that stupid stuff.
Well, so
all right, so tomorrow I've got it as nope, tomorrow's not Tuesday, tomorrow's Wednesday, so Blanco. Okay.
Versus who?
Versus Kikuchi.
Lefty. So a bunch of righties in.
And then Thursday is Fromber versus a good one, Bassett. So that'll be a battle.
Excuse me. And then Friday bullpen day.
That's what it sounds like, right? That's been the order so far.
I did hear on the radio before the game. I was driving. I did hear, and I don't think it's going to happen, but I did hear that outside shot that Jake Bloss would be back Friday.
I've heard some of that chirping as well.
Oh,
and
right.
that would be fine. I mean, I guess
it probably means it probably means a glorified bullpen day. He's like,
right.
You leave him in as long as he's effective, and then at some point you're going to yank him.
Right. Yeah, and then again, managing those people. I mean, it's like we brought up. I heard today on the broadcast, Kessinger's back because that was a high area of need because of our infield depth issue, and I'm not sure who we lost in our infield.
We have 7 outfielders.
I know, but what changed that we needed Gray Kessinger? What did I miss? I mean, we sent Hummel down. Okay.
Well, Hummel sucks.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't have a problem with the general idea of it. Of course, we pull an outfielder / first baseman / third baseman or whatever Hummel really was.
We have 6 of those on the freaking team right now.
Right. So whatever. Yeah, I mean, Bloss pitching would be fine, and I think you're on it by saying, modified bullpen day is really what it becomes, if depending on how he.
So then that would mean Hunter Brown Saturday and then Aaron Getty on Sunday.
That's what it. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, yes, sir. You're on it. And then day off, and then we close with 6 at home. Miami and Texas, which that'll be, again, hell, every game is huge, but need to finish out this road trip the right way. I mean, we're 3-2 right now.
That's a great point. That's a great point because you would think, how baseball goes, you would think of those 6 games at home, the worst you should be doing is 3-3, probably 4-2. You would think.
I would say 4-2 with the expectations that we're now presenting ourselves as.
I agree with that. I'm just saying, like, worst case scenario should be 3-3 at the worst.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm going to tell you right now, they need to go 5-1 against weaker teams.
That would be great.
So what I was getting at is, you're right. Like, they don't need to just. They need to finish this next 5 games on the road. Like, don't go 1-4, 2-3. That's not good.
No, they need to repeat. They need to win 3 of 5. I mean, and
yeah,
you come off of this road trip. You had won.
I agree with that.
You had won 3 of the first 4. Okay, so we're feeling pretty good. We lost the first one in New York and then rambled off 3. So you won 3 of 4. Winning 2 out of the next 5, which puts it as 2 out of 6, if you counted today's game. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, three wins is going to be a successful road trip in my mind. Going 6-4, 5-5 is just, again, it's a push. It's not a World Series, go get them, we're coming after your ass type team. I think 6-4 sends a much stronger message to the organization that, hey, we're going after this. And especially without Kyle Tucker, especially without a fifth starter. I mean, that says a lot in my mind.
Man, if you could go, I'm not like if you could go 7-4 over the next 11.
12. No, there's 12 left, right? Or no, there's 5 and then
there's
6,
11.
11. Yeah.
If you could find a way to go 7-4, you're what, 4 games over 500 at the break?
Mm-hmm. It's a far cry from where we thought we'd be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that should be the baseline. And if you can steal a win and go 8-3, hey, let's go. But I mean, that really needs to be, like you said, we're 1-1 this week. We had a good week last week. I mean, that needs to be the baseline. But again, as we've also said, 2 weeks ago we were 10 games back. Guess what? In 2 weeks we could be 10 games back again.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes back to what Brian said. Who are we really?
Debbie Downer.
Well, it's fact.
Cough away somewhere else. Cough away that nonsense.
I'm about to. I'm about to.
Yeah, we will revisit on Sunday, maybe Monday, whatever, and we'll talk about those last 6 games and review where these last 5 ended up for us. But no, been a good 2 weeks for the Astros, and like the sign says, we're trending.
Yeah. Anything else you want to bring up before we wrap this bad boy up?
Happy July 4th.
Yeah, no doubt.
4th, man.
2 days. Yep.
I like a good one. I like it on a Thursday. Then you get Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Yeah, that's good. So everyone out there, enjoy your 4th. Be safe. Enjoy some barbecue. Grill some steaks and some chicken and some ribs and everything else. Enjoy it. Be safe. Be with your loved ones. Like, share. Give us feedback. We got a lot of feedback this week. It was funny. Some of it was good. Some of it, well, we just had to take care of. And but don't hesitate to give us feedback. We enjoy it. You don't have to agree with us. We kind of go back and forth on stuff that we think. And guess what? At the end of the day, we just like having opinions, and the Astros are going to do what the Astros do. So I apologize, all those out there with my allergies tonight. I don't know what's going on, but boys, that's episode 55. And so with that being said, go Stros.
Go Stros.
Go Stros.
Sound like Dorton's golf game.